Hello, everybody. Welcome to a Friday night here at It's a Crime. I'm so happy to have you all join me. I see you guys have been chit-chatting the day away, getting ready for this video. So tonight I'm going to have so many cases to go through. So what I thought I would do is go through one case, then have a little chit chat and a Q&A, go through another case, chit chat and Q&A. That way it flows a little bit better, but we still have time to chat. And so everybody's happy, hopefully. Sound good? And then just to the moderators who are in here, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I have slow mode ticked off on this video, or on this live stream. So hopefully the slow mode is actually working. We have usually quite a few people that start filtering in. So hopefully it's not going to be too crazy fast. And that'll help. And it's still fast. Well, I did put it on slow mode, but maybe because we have a lot of people. So what else, you guys? Yeah, so that, and then as always, I don't mind anybody having differing opinions. Just keep it classy, please and thank you. And to the moderators too, nobody really needs to get timed out or kicked out unless, it's not good. So we're good. Now, as people start coming in, I'm just gonna take one more minute and talk about the channel. We just hit 85,000, which is awesome. And what else? There is a new merch design in my store of Let's Get Into It. So a lot of you people have been asking, hey, Linda, put something with Let's Get Into It on it. So I did that. And what else? Oh yeah, if you want to see that, you can do, this should show up on the video below, or yeah, under the video is what I mean. Or there is also, not in this description, I don't think I have the merch in there, but I will on the playback. So once this live stream is done, I will be obviously posting it to the channel, and then I'll have timestamps on it. A lot of you are really liking that, and I'll put that again in the description below. So each case you'll see the playlist, and you'll also see the timestamp that I talk about it. So on playback, it's a little bit easier. Also, if you see the names pop up in green, that means that people in the chat are joining my new membership called the Crime Ring. Actually, it's been about 2 months, so it feels still really new. There are different tiers available, making it affordable for everybody. So welcome aboard to those who have already joined and those of you who are about to. And you should see also custom emojis on the bottom or just below the chat on the left-hand corner, right where the regular emojis are. But if you're a member, you can use some extra stuff. All right. I'm checking in on you guys, make sure you guys are all good. And then we are going to get into it. We have a ton of cases to cover. Evelyn Boswell, Gannon, Stauch, Lori Vallow. We have Vanessa Guillen and little Sebastian that I did do a video on before. So there's quite a few. So we're just going to zoom through them. Welcome, everybody. Okay. Whew. Oh, is my audio not matching up? I don't know. It should. Oh, you know what? I might have to get Mr. Linda to help me. 1 second, please. I'm going to ask Mr. Linda to help me bring the cord in. Sorry, 1 sec, you guys. We had a storm today, so it might be a little bit wonky. I'll get the modem hooked up. He can bring it to me, and then it should be okay. All right, let's get into it. First, we're going to talk about Letitia Stauch. And Letitia is being evaluated for competency, right? And she's at the Colorado Mental Health Institute in Pueblo, Colorado, which is about 45 minutes away from Colorado Springs. And you probably already heard about this. I haven't covered it in my videos yet. However, I'm just going to quote what Michael Allen says, and then we can have a chit chat about it. He says the defendant is going to be evaluated for competency, which means that she will be evaluated to see if she understands the proceedings, the nature of the charges, the role of people in the courtroom, including her defense counsel, prosecution, and the judge. And he said that obviously the move to test her competency will delay the case moving forward. He says the biggest thing is that this just slows things down. Everything in this case now is stayed until the evaluation comes back from the state hospital. It really is going to slow things down tremendously until we get that evaluation complete. And he said the review hearing is scheduled for September 8th, but he did say her evaluation results might come back sooner. And he says if that happens, we can potentially get an earlier date. That's a while. So June, July, August, we've got 3 months, right? Just under, I guess. And he said also because of the ongoing pandemic, the results could also come back later, because this is hard to read because you're going, He says, as we have seen with the pandemic, everything is delayed now, including competency evaluations can be delayed. That's because of transfer issues. If you take somebody from the jail is very reluctant to take somebody back into the jail to ensure that they don't have a spread inside of our jail. Well, I think anybody's going to be reluctant to have her. And then the volume of the discovery alone, which we've kind of heard is going to be thousands of pages, right? And there's 19,902 pages of the discovery and over 250 items of media discovery. So looks like Linda is going to be, when it comes out, is going to be, non-existent for a while, diving in, and Mr. Linda may not see me for quite some time as I'm doing one of these. Now on Landon's Facebook page, I saw a couple posts. Obviously she posts quite a bit about Gannon, but there was a couple that just really stuck out to me. And she had a post where she had pictures of her out and about, I guess. And she said that she's getting signs from him. She said, so many little things that you have sent me in the last 2 days, rainbows and an I love you. There was a heart-shaped cloud in the picture that she had, blue sky, and then just a heart-shaped cloud. She says cardinals, there's a red cardinal, bunnies and rays of colors in the skies. And she says a constant reminder of your love. And she had another post that is super emotional. Like she just showed a picture of her and the kids, and it was literally from a year ago to the week. And you see that, and Gannon smiling and happy and being there, and that's just, a little bit, it's tough, right? And I like to, go once in a while and check out Landon's page. Her and I actually have the same birth date. So I thought that was kind of cool. All right, what do we have here? I'm just going to check in. Karen says, good evening from New Brunswick, Canada. Excited to be here, fairly new member. Welcome. Thank you all for the super chat. Thank you. This new software is kind of cool. You get to highlight names and comments, but it goes by sometimes really fast. There we go. I think I found you. There you go. Oh yeah, I'll be gentle. Welcome aboard, and Canadian. That's awesome. Welcome aboard. Do you have any questions about Letitia? And that there's not a whole lot right now. Oh, right. I have an info snack, but then it ends up not being too much of one. I thought I had something there. Yeah, thank you so much. So last night I was on a Zoom with my crime ring, and we were talking about, because I got an email that potentially we knew where Eduardo came from. And I thought it was it too. And then I even looked it up while we were on Zoom, but then it turns out it was somebody's username, Eduardo, not Eduardo, but it said, I thought it was maybe a character from like Retro Sonic, but it was the Knuckles guy. And this guy had Eduardo Knuckles, but the way it was when you were combing and researching it, it looked like, oh my gosh, that's where she got it from. Ridiculous. And then it ended up being today. I was like, no, I did a little more snooping. It's like, no, that's not it. Oh, Eduardo. So that's unfortunate that I thought, oh no, I thought we had it. We were figuring out where Eduardo was. But basically, it's just in the corners of her mind. All right. Not a whole lot there yet, but I'm sure because it's so quiet, we're going to hear something about her, even though she's in Pueblo getting a mental health exam. Now, what are your guys' thoughts? Because to me, it's like, this is not a worry. I think, like, she's not going to be able to fake the professionals, in my opinion. I don't think she's going to be able to fake them. She's going to try, and my goodness, could you imagine the professionals are going to be, looking at her going like, can you even believe what she's pulling right now, right? That's how I feel. Yeah. Yeah, she's probably coming up with a plan. Maybe not a broomstick this time, though, and maybe she has to measure herself again. Like we're not sure, right? But I really don't think it's going to be. I don't think she's gonna be incompetent. I think they're gonna be like, no, you're totally fine. You're just a different kind of crazy. Okay, I got to put this up because somebody's in here saying to Mr. Linda, I know Zulema, she was my job coach and sucked at it, and Melanie Gibb is friends with my mom. This is interesting. Are you going to be sticking around? Because I'm going to be covering Lori pretty quick here. I would love to know about Zulema. People have asked me over and over and over, numerous questions, numerous emails. We need to know about Zulema. What do you know about Zulema? And I only know about this much about Zulema, but seems you, Addie, would know quite a bit if she was your job coach. And very interesting. Melanie Gibb is friends with your mom. So it is a tight-knit group, isn't it? That's very interesting. Welcome, everybody. If you are just joining me, we're going through a bunch of cases. We just covered Letitia Stauch, and we are going to be doing a bunch more tonight. So what I'm doing is I'm going to run through a case, then we have a little chit chat, then run through a case. So there's not too much interruptions. Hopefully they'll go a little smoother. After the live stream is over, I will put in the description timestamps, so it'll help you guys out. All right, so we're going to go to the next one. Okay, here's another one that is a head scratcher, and that's the Suzanne Morphew case. I mean, this has been super hush-hush from the get-go. Wouldn't you agree? And it's been 2 months. It's going to be almost 2 months that she's been missing. She went missing on May 10th, and yeah, it's going to be 2 months, so we're about 6 weeks now. Now, there's not a lot going around. There's a lot of chatter, but not a lot of info being given. The last time that the Chaffee County Sheriff's Office said anything was in a press release on June 10th. And basically it's been a month since Suzanne Morphew's been reported missing. And they just basically have said the same thing over and over. They said on June 10th, investigators plan to conduct a community canvass in the county to contact residents and others to not only share information about Miss Morphew's disappearance, but also focus on obtaining any new information in her case. Nearly 24 members of law enforcement will take part in this comprehensive effort on Wednesday. I mean, there is not a whole lot. And I find it weird. I mean, we've seen the interview that was with the other YouTuber Tyson Draper and Barry Morphew. We've seen Barry Morphew's video. We've seen a few things go down, right? But there's even been chatter about people comparing Barry with the Delphi case. It's just really interesting to me. But I think right from the get-go, there's been so much silence. And to the point where it's like, is it because they know something, or is it because, like, what is it? Because what we for sure know is she's missing. We don't even know the day she's went missing, really. And I don't know. If you guys have time, just Google or go on YouTube and look up some Barry Morphew versus Delphi, and it's just interesting. It's interesting. I do not go back on my video about him, though. I don't. I stick to my guns on his video. Thanks, Liz in Texas, and welcome aboard to the new Crime Ring members. Oh, okay. I missed a little thing here. Stay tuned 1 sec. So yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on this case? Because it's been so hush-hush. My fear is that it's going to end up a cold case, but maybe they know more. The other thing I was thinking about, and I don't want to open up this can too much, but I was thinking about how small it is there, right? Where she lives. It's very, very small. And in 2 years that they've lived there, it could be, you know, you could meet a lot of people. I was saying this in my membership last night on Zoom. You know how small towners, if you are a small towner in here, you'll know this. It's like you don't give directions according to what the street name is. It's like you go to Uncle Bob's house and then you make a left and then you're going to go to the restaurant and then you make a right. You know, like it's that kind of thing. So meaning that everybody knows everybody. And a lot of people know what's going on from, you know, they just know your business. So it's kind of weird how everything is so hush-hush. And is it because maybe there's some people that know each other? I mean, Barry's a volunteer firefighter and he has a landscaping business, right? But I don't know. I just feel like there's some wonky things going on in there. Rita says, I wonder if the kids were there, if he would have killed them also, and why are the kids gone for Mother's Day? I think they were on a camping trip and they were on their way back, is my understanding. But we don't know. We don't know a timeline. There is zero timeline. Hey, we're looking for Suzanne. She left on Friday or Saturday or, you know, Sunday morning. There's zero. So the other interesting thing is when they put out the missing persons poster for Suzanne, there's no mention of a reward. Barry said there's $200,000 reward, but there's no mention officially of a reward, right? So there's still not much on there either. There's a lot of chatter, but there's really not a whole lot of info. But I do have more info on the upcoming cases. Don't worry. So if we're done with that, we'll move on. You guys good? Angela says, why is the family so silent? Good question. I don't know. I mean, some people want to just be quiet. Some people don't want to get harassed by the media. Some people just want to stay silent because they need to stay silent. Yeah, we haven't heard from the daughters at all, right? Kim says, hey, from the UK. It's 2:19, but I'm here. You guys are just like strong and going. This is awesome. Welcome. So, okay, so we'll keep going. Yeah, I heard that too, that people are saying that he's wanting to relocate or maybe relocating. Yeah, that's a good point. If my mother was missing and the media wanted to interview me, I'd do it. Everybody's different though too, right? So I guess time will tell. I'm just worried that they're not going to get any little info snacks, but I'd like to be a fly on the wall on some of the things that they have done for sure. All right, let's get moving on to the next one. Do you guys remember the video that I did on little Sebastian Castro Rivas? He is the little three-year-old. Oh my gosh, I can't even believe. Yeah, that he was in Colorado as well, in Eagle, Colorado, and he went missing at nighttime, 9:20 p.m. He was reported missing, and they ended up doing a search. He is autistic and nonverbal, and they found his phone that he uses for music, and they found a shoe of his in the river, but no Sebastian. So for the last couple weeks, I was going, because people were saying, any updates? It's like, no. But the last couple days, as I was getting ready for this case catch up, I found out that his dad was speaking, and he said that Sebastian left home from their first floor apartment. And there was previous reports that he was saying that he jumped from the balcony, because I was like, what? How does a 3-year-old, like, where are you jumping from, right? But it was said, we live in the first floor. There's a built-in fence my dad made for him not to go out. This is the sister speaking. There's a satellite dish that he uses for leverage so he can climb out and run for the park that's next to us. As for the cell phone, she says he had a cell phone because my mom hands it to distract him while she goes outside, and my dad watches him inside. They had just gotten home from a walk, and hence why she left him with my dad. And so it is a little bit weird. The dad says he never goes to the balcony when it's nighttime, but he did and must have jumped. So in this, I just thought, well, that's weird. Kids really don't know or don't really care if it's nighttime or not when they, when they play around and run, they don't care, right? But we don't know Sebastian. He says he feels that Sebastian is still alive and he's pleading for a safe return. If someone has him, if someone took him, he says, I assure you there will be no charges, nothing. And there was, what else was there? Did I see? That's pretty much it for him, that they found that. But yes, autistic children are very curious with water, but 3, why are you not in bed? Yeah, I mean, there was reports that they saw a little boy with his description at the playground at 9 p.m. And by 9:20, they called. So maybe he hopped it because he wanted to go play. It was said that the sister said that her dad had built something like a deck on the apartment, and he did it so that he can't escape, but he did escape, right? Or he says that's what he must have done. Sebastian must have climbed over and left. So I don't know. I just find that really, really weird. What do you guys think? Yes, I totally agree. Autism kids can be escape artists. Well, little kids in general, but yeah, I mean, they have a tendency, not all of them, because once you meet somebody with autism, you meet one person with autism, right? Everybody's different, but they can escape, and a lot of times they have to do the extra locks and whatnot, right? And plus, he's nonverbal, so there's that too. Now, I don't know when they're saying first floor, if they're meaning main floor, like ground floor, or if they're meaning the next floor up. My understanding, it's the main ground floor, and then, second floor would be the second floor. So again, another case where there's no answers. Now, I know the river was really, really high, and it was rough that week he went missing. And they said he would play that music or on the phone, right? Because, wow, the kid took his cell phone. He's 3 years old, and like, la, 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 and take it with him, or what happened, right? Oh, Teresa says, oops, sorry, guys. How long ago was this? Sebastian went missing. Let me just get the exact date. I have it down, but there's so many dates today that my head is spinning. It was... I think it was the end of May, beginning of June. Yeah, it's the beginning of June. So we're going on 2-3 weeks. Let me just get the calendar. Since the Friday the 5th, June 5th. Danny says, I work with children who have nonverbal autism, and I can attest to the fact that they do elope or escape sometimes. It's usually because of unpreferred stimuli. Makes me think he was escaping. It very well could be. And then he would maybe saw the park, and he's gone to the park and hanging out, and then wanted to go see the water or whatever. That's where they found the phone, and that's where they found his shoe, one of his shoes. So I don't know. It's heart-wrenching, especially you just don't even know. I mean, the first 48 hours is, important. And then I don't know what they're doing. They had several people looking and combing for him and trying to find him. And they're saying, like, don't yell his name. Like, he really doesn't like that. And to, sing songs or that kind of thing. He likes music. And so from my understanding, he just maybe climbed over, used the satellite dishes. One of them that I was reading, that he would climb up and then use the satellite dish to grab on and then go over. And that my littlest one was escape artist just in his crib. Like, it's amazing, at 18 months or 2 years old, and all of a sudden you see him escape from the crib. You're like, that little bugger, how did he do that? And then it was game over from there. Like, you might as well go to a big boy bed, because the cribs aren't going to work. Thank you, Rhonda. The Queen of Denial says, I have 4 kids with autism. One daughter who was 3 at the time and was being babysat by the neighbors. She figured out how to break into my house and the cops couldn't figure out how she did it. He's smart. Like, they're determined, whatever they, they want to go do what they want to do. All right, let's go to the next one. Evelyn Boswell. We're speaking of little babies. There's, again, not a lot of headway made. However, there are the Tennessee House Judiciary Committee is recommending the passage of a bill known as Evelyn Boswell's Law. That would increase penalties for parents or guardians who don't report their children missing in a timely manner. And obviously timely be a lot less than 2 months. Because she was reported missing actually February 2020. Isn't that crazy? It was back in February, and she hadn't been seen since December. There's also a petition, and I will put that in the description below once this is all done, that there's a petition for having a playground built in honor of baby Evelyn. And it said, this is kind of cool. It says the playground would include activities for children aged 3 months and up, and an area to include equipment for handicapped children so that all children can have a place to play and have fun. I love that. Most playgrounds do not have these accommodations, and there needs to be one built to make change possible for other kids. So I thought that was really cool. And again, I'll put that in the description below later. Also, the Megan, her court date is set for July 31st. There's going to be a lot of things happening in July. Now, remember the boyfriend of Angela's boyfriend, William McLeod, or ex-boyfriend, I don't know what he is right now. He actually assaulted an ex-girlfriend and struck an 8-year-old in the face. He actually appeared in court, I don't have the exact date, I think it was in May, for a violation of a protective order charge, not related to the Evelyn Boswell case. But it says, oh yeah, here it goes. The charge stems from an incident that occurred in May when police say he assaulted his ex-girlfriend and struck an 8-year-old in the face. A judge reset his court date to July 15th. So there's that. I think there's a delay on my stream on my software that I get. Because you guys, it's just slowly coming. Welcome for those who just joined me. I'm zipping through a bunch of cases. We're going to do a little bit more in depth with the ones that are coming up. But I had just tiny little updates, and we're all getting updated, me too, because we've been diving into Lori Daybell. And this is funny. Anna says, who's crazy, Letitia or Lori? There's a whole different kind. And not the crazy kind that's incompetency, like not that kind of crazy. All right, here we go, the next one. This one's getting me riled up a bit. And it's about Vanessa Guillen, who has been following this case. I did do a video when Vanessa first went missing, and there was pretty much not a whole lot of information. I did do a live stream that I talked about Vanessa. They were looking for a petition to take to President Trump. A lot of you signed that petition, so I thank you for that, because it jumped really, not that it's just all us, but it helped. Now, before I came on here, like today, I was diving deep, and this case actually is very, 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 very upsetting. Vanessa Guillen is a soldier at Fort Hood. She went missing on April 22nd. She's 20 years old, 5'2", 126 pounds. And there's nothing really been done for the first, or looks like not a lot has been done for the first 6 weeks from the sounds of it. I know Vanessa's sister has been advocating for her sister from the get-go, and the family too, but we see her, she has her Facebook and, just fighting to find Vanessa. Now we hear from her mom, or I did today, and let me tell you, they did a press conference on the 23rd. Her reaction, she spoke most in Spanish, okay? I can understand Italian and a little bit of French. So a little bit of Spanish I can pick up on, not a whole lot. But honestly, for people who don't even know a lick of Spanish, you can tell almost what she's saying just by her emotions. This is a strong woman, and she is angry, and she is disgusted, and she is heartbroken. And that I can tell you. And there has been nothing done until now, really. There's a couple things that I find interesting. Let's just take a look. We'll rewind a minute. When she left was around 11:30 was the last time anybody has reported seeing Vanessa at Fort Hood. There was talk before that it was a parking lot that she was last seen at. I don't know at this point if it's true or not, because there hasn't been any confirmation of that. There was in the beginning, but who said that? And this is why I say this. She worked in the armory room, and she left behind her ID, her keys, and something else. And let me look. Yeah, her car keys, her barracks room key, and her ID card and wallet were later found in the armory room. Now, a lot of people were asking, why is she wearing civilian clothes that day? Because they did a description of her. Here's the crazy thing. She wasn't supposed to work that day. She got called in to work. Nobody will say who called her in. Obviously, it's an investigation. But her mom is angry. And I am 100% with her. Her mother's name is Gloria. She says, Gloria claims that Vanessa complained to her about a sergeant sexually harassing her. When her mother advised her to report him, she said that other women had reported him and they weren't believed. And she wasn't supposed to work that day, but she got called in, and her phone hasn't been found. But in this press conference, they were talking that there was a text that was sent out from Vanessa's phone with a serial number. And they're saying, wait a minute, that's breaking protocol. Why would she do that? And so they're asking a lot of questions. I mean, there has been, let me just read this because I'm going to show you guys. This is just so weird. There's been a lot that's been hush hush, and now it's just being looked at. And they have now used the words foul play, like eight weeks later, right? Yeah, it says they have now used the words foul play. They are convinced now that there is foul play involved, and they are following all the leads they can. They did that press conference. Okay, here's what they're saying. They're saying there's no timeline. All they're saying is 11:30, but there's no cameras. There's no confirmation, just some people saying around 11:30. And there was a couple other things. Salma Hayek has also joined in the effort to draw attention on Vanessa. And this is what Gloria says, the mom. I pleaded with them from the beginning that they search for my daughter, that they close the base, and that they use the more than 30,000 soldiers to look for her, and they never did it. She says, I begged them to close the base and investigate room by room, barrack by barrack, building by building, and they didn't do it. Why now are they doing a show to look for my daughter? Whew, she's mad. You could see her get so disgusted in there too. She's just angry and then disgusted and then just upset. She says, the military has pulled phone records and reviewed credit card and security records. Information on when she was last seen is based on interviews with people. However, no camera video exists, which the family and their attorney said they found odd. And they didn't even contact the family when Vanessa was gone. And get this, they were doing their checks, and the superior was doing the check and actually checked her as there, and now is admitting that he didn't see her that afternoon. Interesting. Also, it's been reported that the sergeant was playing a little peeping Tom on Vanessa while she showered. So Vanessa obviously said that's uncomfortable. And now whoever it is, they won't say the name, but whoever it is abusing their power a little bit. And I've seen a lot of soldiers. I've seen a lot of military people under my comments saying, Linda, something isn't right. From the get-go, they said something's not right. And in fact, I have another thing that I have here. Just one sec. Let me find it. One of my viewers says, I worked in the Army, and your ID and key card to your barracks storeroom is just something you would not leave behind. It's a part of your uniform, and especially new soldiers are pretty much scared into carrying these things and these items at all times. Something is up with this foul play for sure. I can't even tell you how many people, this is before the sexual harassment even came out. And so, and there's something like over 200 soldiers have gone missing. There's a list. There's actually a list. The other thing it says, that was about the account. Yeah, the family shared with military officials that Guillen had told them, as well as friends, that a sergeant had followed her into a shower while she was naked. The attorney says, we suspect the person was her supervisor the same day after she was missing. The family also said she was not supposed to work on the day of her disappearance, but was called into work, and they want to know who called her in. The family said the military would not provide names of who her supervisor was, nor provide names of witnesses. And then it's quoted, there's been so many gaps and holes in what we learned today that I'm going to demand a congressional investigation. For this family, we want to know what happened and who is covering up, and to who and why are they covering up. I feel like we're not going to resolve this down. I don't know what happened there. Absolutely, her mother is a rock. Absolutely agree. In a previous video, when I was talking about Vanessa, we were talking about another soldier in August that went missing, Gregory Morales, and Private Gregory Morales. And he was the one who just bought a new car. And then Vanessa was talking about buying a new car. So we were just having a chit chat about that. What I find interesting is he has been missing since August. Yet all of a sudden, they found him deceased, and they found his remains. I don't know why I find this interesting. I just think the timing, like there was nothing. There's another thing I want to mention. There is a woman who went missing from, no, not missing. She died at Fort Hood in the parking lot. And I tried to do research on her. This is way back when I first did Vanessa's video. There's all of like three or four articles, barely says a peep. She was a mother of, I think, 3-4 children, and she drops dead in the parking lot. There's no talk about how she died. There's no talk about anything. I even went on the husband's Facebook at the time to see if I could find out some information on how she died. Nothing. And it's so weird. I find it super weird that we can't find not a thing about what happened. They're saying it may or may not have been foul play. Yeah, well, right? What do you guys think? And there's a Facebook page as well. And when I get the link, I'll put it in the description. There's a Facebook page that there's other women coming forward like, oh yeah, this happened to me. Oh yeah, this happened to me. Oh yeah, this happened to me. And it's the I Am Vanessa Guillen movement. And I'm going to say a little bit without saying too much, okay? I've never been in the Army, so I don't know a whole lot about the Army. But I did work in oil and gas before. And it's in oil and gas, it's a lot of a man's world, I will just say, in my opinion and experience. There was a superior who decided to be inappropriate. And I made it well known to him. And then I was professional and just kept doing my job. Okay? Not going to go into details. However, once it crossed the line where he was sabotaging my job because I said no to him, things got ugly. I went to HR, and let's just say the guy in HR was best friends with this guy. And he said, that's just how he is. That's just how he is. He's always been that way. Oh, really? And I basically told him to take the job and shove it up you know where. It happens everywhere. And here's the thing, in oil and gas, from where I'm from, you cause havoc and you cause wreck, you don't get a job anywhere else in that industry, in the same town, in my experience. This was a while ago, okay? Because I can't say that is right now. However, this is somebody abusing their power because they can and get away with it because they've always gotten away with it. And if that person who's been there, how many years he's been in the military and is doing what is allegedly what he's doing, then isn't his first time. It's not his first rodeo. And this kind of crap has to stop. You know? Because, I mean, obviously, there's a soldier missing. I just saw on one of the videos as well today that there's underground tunnels, like a big, huge underground tunnel underneath there. Yeah, exactly. Okay, there we go. You can't quit in military. No HR. You talk, everyone knows, dude, not worth dying for. Exactly. She didn't want to get in trouble. She didn't want anything happen or worse. This is what happens. And at the end of the day, women get blamed for that. I'm not saying it can't happen the other way, Kate. We're not talking about that right now. We're talking about a male towards a female. Females can do it to the males, but in this instance, it's Vanessa. She complained about it. This was happening. Her mother said, please do something about it. She said, no, other people have said something and nothing happened. In fact, they were even saying in the press conference that they weren't going to investigate it because it wasn't a criminal charge. Well, it obviously led to something where this woman is gone. Where the heck is she, right? And all of a sudden now they're finding the other missing soldier from August. And now I'd like to know what happened to the other woman who died in the parking lot. What happened there? I mean, and there's nothing said. Now, here's the other thing. They're talking about the checks, right? That somebody checked that she was there, but then later said she wasn't there. There's discrepancies. Why didn't the family get notified at a proper time that she was missing? Yeah, right? So I get a little heated watching it. You should see, I encourage you to see this. I'll put that in the description below too, to see her mom and her sister. Her sister is just, she's saying she won't stop. And now this has to be brought to light. These things are being covered up. And then not only that, they know they can get away with it. That. And so even the attorney was saying, like, listen, there's some weird things that they're saying. Why no cameras on that day? She wasn't even supposed to be working. And somebody called her in. Who called her in? And then she goes missing? It is disgusting. Now, even male soldiers are going missing from Fort Hood. There has been, like, I mean, hundreds. I can't believe it. And it's not in war. It's right there happening. Why? His sister did talk about, Vanessa's sister talked a little bit. She alluded to, what do you call it? A trafficking ring, all kinds of things. So I don't know at this point. I haven't deep dived enough. But this is interesting. I don't know what cameras are there. I don't know. I mean, obviously they didn't see anything. It's just really weird. So yes, over 200 missing is what Vanessa's sister, Myra, said, is there is over 200 soldiers missing. All right, if we have a couple more questions on this, and then we will move on to the next. Yes, Diane says, yeah, Second Private Morales went missing days before he was discharged from the Army. That's correct. No, they're not all women that are missing. There's men too. All right. Yeah, if you guys are just joining me, I've covered Evelyn Boswell, Sebastian, Castro, Rivas, and a little bit on Letitia, not a whole lot. we got to wait till September 8th for that. And then the Discovery, we definitely want to get my hands on that when that comes down the road. Who else did we cover? A bunch. I'll have timestamps for you guys. Don't worry. Oh, wow. Her mom said she wanted to be in the military since she was 10. Yeah, and she went, I didn't know about that, but I knew she went just after high school into the military. Yeah, right. Lori says everybody's camera seems to go junk just when they're needed. Yeah, right. Like, didn't we hear that little chatter about Barry Morphew as well? All right, we're going to go to the next one, and I'm sure you guys are chomping at the bit to talk about possibly her, and it's Lori Daybell. Well, guess what? Today is her birthday. She turns 47 years old today, and I just want to wish her a happy, miserable day today, or a miserable birthday. I don't know if she's going to actually think it's miserable, but it's her birthday. She's 47. Probably sucks for her. She can't get her hair done and anything else. Greg says, do you think that Lori will ever come clean about what happened to her kids? No. How about her rant and rave in her pod when they were at Chad's place searching? I heard about that. Do you know what source that was from, though? Because I hear a lot of people saying she went crazy when she was in there. But I don't know what the source was. And there was a glitch. There was a computer glitch. It was saying that Lori was released on June 23rd, 2020. And it was a computer glitch. Nate Eaton had a tweet and he's like, Lori Vallow has not been released from jail. This message went out to many tracking her status this afternoon. Prosecutor Rob Wood and jail officials tell me this was a glitch. She remains in custody. So I thought that was very interesting. People were probably just freaked out, like, oh my gosh, she's been, And Nate was saying about Chad and how he spends his time in jail. He says, I'm told Chad Daybell doesn't say much in jail. He spends time reading scriptures and religious books. So I don't think any scripture or religious book will tell him how to get out of this one. Maybe the dead grandmother of Tammy's, but he'll get that on September 23rd next year from the veil, over the other side of the veil. Oh, look at that. The lady retracted her statement and admitted she lied about Lori trashing the pod. There we go. Got to be careful sometimes. A lot of chatter. I was surprised she is in Gen Pop. I'm shocked no one has gone after her. Well, little birdies are saying that one of the Murrays works at the jail that she's at. I wonder if I could talk to Nate Eaton about that. I'd like to know. Thank you, Manglia. So I love this. I love your comment. I hope she gets what she deserves for her birthday. Yeah. Did you guys see that Summer? You remember Summer Cox Shiflett? She is Lori's sister. She did that interview on 48 Hours with her mom. And she actually made a statement after all this, because before it was like, no, Lori's not going to, no. And same with Lori's mom, right? Lori's mom is like, I talked to JJ on October 1st. Here's my phone record. Well, Summer actually made a statement, and she actually says, words are hard and inadequate. Trying to type through this pain is difficult. The last few months have been hard. The last week has been excruciating. Losing our precious Tylee and JJ in this horrific way is more than we can bear. I have tremendous amount of gratitude to all the law enforcement that have worked so hard to find Tylee and JJ. When I first heard that remains had been found, I immediately felt the need to pray for those who found them. And I continue to pray for those who were on the scene, removed the remains, and have to analyze them to try and piece together what those poor babies endured. I feel for those who do this work, and I'm so grateful they are willing to do this to help bring peace and closure to families. I'm also grateful to the Woodcocks for ordering the wellness check. I pray for them to have peace and comfort as well. My mother has been here with me the past few days, and we both feel the same about this. I feel so incredibly grateful to all of our friends and family, and even the strangers that have reached out to offer their love and support. I have leaned on them more than they know. We have prayed for the truth to come to light, but we never thought it would look like this. Believe me when I say this has looked very different from my perspective than what the public has seen. It's easy to jump on a bandwagon when you don't personally know all the people involved. When you have been up close and personal, you can't discount your own interactions and just go by what everyone else says and thinks. I know there are people waiting for me to admit I was wrong. If that's all you want to know, here it is. I was wrong. I am an extremely imperfect person that loves my family with all my heart, and I wanted to believe the best in them, and I held out hope for the best possible outcome. I have always said things truthfully as I understood them, and will continue to do that as I learn new information. While I'm now nowhere close to perfect, I strive to be a disciple of Jesus Christ. I want to show love to everyone regardless of their imperfections. I do not find any joy in condemning people or in the mob mentality. There is no joy in finding out about my precious niece and nephew. And while I have moments of extreme anger, right now, there is so much sorrow and hurt that I can't even fully process all of it. The last thing I want to do is perpetuate more hate. There is already too much of that in this world. I am praying for healing for all those who knew and loved Tai and JJ, even those who didn't know them but have been hurt by this news. I pray for healing for all who need it, especially those who choose to lash out in anger over this. I pray for them especially as I know when you are in pain from your own life circumstances, it is easy to act out in anger. I'm trying my best not to do that. It is going to take time to work through all of these emotions and all of this grief, but I have experienced the healing power of the atonement of Jesus Christ in my life many times, and I have great hope and faith that he can heal all those who turn to him for comfort. Tylee and JJ are completely irreplaceable in our family. I have loved them greatly all of their lives. There are no words that can capture this loss. Words are just inadequate. We have dozens of Tylee and JJ stories that we love and share frequently. We had prayed our hearts out for them and hoped with all of our hearts they were safe. But we sadly have to face this new reality, and our family will never be the same. Sadly, there is no way to go back and undo what has been done. We can only go forward. As much as we miss them here, I know my beautiful Tai and precious JJ are in a beautiful place with people they love and love them. I am going to do my best to help what's left of my family to honor Tai and JJ by putting our trust in the Savior Jesus Christ, by trying to show an abundance of love and kindness and look into ways of helping victims of abuse, children suffering from chronic illnesses, and children on the autism spectrum. Love you forever, Tylee and JJ, and then a bunch of different color hearts. So I'm wondering if Summer is going to actually talk to Lori, or if she, feels a need to go there, if she's still in anger phase, or what happened. So then we saw in this last week or so, maybe the week before, Charles was on new body cam footage, saying, Lori needs serious help. She's lost her marbles. I don't know what to do. And just kind of was one thing after another. And unfortunately, he never got help. Now, the kids had the autopsies, Tylee and JJ, and it was officially described as Tylee being dismembered and burned. And it's so heartbreaking. I can't even call it heartbreaking. I don't even know what to call it. It's horrific. And obviously a lot of people knew about it, or a lot. I'm saying more than one person knew about this. And when we first started, like months ago, looking, we were kind of looking so much at Lori, and then we started diving into Chad because we were like, what? He's not innocent either. Remember my one Chad video where I was like, oh, you like a cupcake? Things are getting rough for you. Remember that? He is a dog, pretty much. I can confidently say this. He goes after Lori, and she accepts him, saying that they've been married numerous times, 5 times before, in fact, right? They've been married. And he also told Julie Rowe, who was his friend, and she was a writer and he published her books. He told her that he was married to her in a previous life. And Julie Rowe says that Chad was saying that he was also married to Melanie Gibb in a previous life. And she says, Julie Rowe says, all kinds of women because he's misusing his spiritual gifts. I feel extremely betrayed by Chad. I will do everything I can to see justice. And she talked about a woman from Arizona who he was texting, and the husband catches wind and is like, you keep doing this and I'm going to expose you. Like, stop. So I wondered, that little trip he made to Arizona in September on the Thursday would be it was the 19th he went, when the day that Melanie Gibb came to town with David Warwick, he supposedly went to Arizona and flew out there to help somebody renovate. And a woman, a family member, and he hopes he gets it done in time with this renovation. So I'd like to know a little bit more about that. And let's talk about this a little bit, because if Chad's going to do this one time, you know he's going to keep doing it over and over, right? Because he's thinking, work for her, let's just keep going, right? So now that he has a little pattern of manipulating women, it's not going to be the first time. Okay, there's Melanie, Julie Rowe, Lori Vallow, Lori Daybell, the woman in Arizona, how many other women. And Tammy's probably like, something ain't right. And Lori meets Chad. And it was funny because in the Dateline episode, did you guys see this on Monday? Melanie Gibb was saying, oh, well, Lori was attracted to his spiritual self. And Keith is like, yeah, I wouldn't really put them together as a match. But if you see, since she met him, over time, Chad's losing more and more and more weight. His clothing is changing and his hairstyle is changing. So she molded him to exactly, it was like, yeah, you're gonna have to do this and this and this, and then, okay, then you're okay. You're going to have to, I was saying this last night too, and with my membership, he's kind of like, Lori's like, okay, while I'm in jail, you make sure you do your yoga and keep trim and, you know, get your hair cut. Make sure you look good. So this guy isn't the first time that he's done this. And he's a pig. And not only that, I mean, even he has this, I don't know the word, okay? I'm sure there's a clinical word. I don't know the word. But he's dark. Hey, Chad Daybell, you're dark. You're rated dark. I'll get to my next statement in a minute. But remember when he was at the property while the authorities were searching the property? He's watching it. He's watching from the driveway, and then they said also from across the street his daughter's property, and he's watching it until the moment they got to JJ's head, and then he takes off. Sorry, his John Pryor, he doesn't flee. Yes, he does. He flees, and they go catch him. And it's kind of like his texts. He talks about the raccoon, right? And he talks about shooting it and the limb debris. And he's thinking he's being clever. I'm telling the truth, but I'm not telling the truth. Just got to feel like I need to say something like that. Kind of how Letitia's like, oh, the blood? Yeah, no, that's because Gannon cut his foot. That's why you're going to find that. It's kind of similar, but he actually is like, woo, what a day I had. Had to get the raccoon. One shot did the trick. You know, it's kind of like, and Tammy doesn't even answer him till 3 hours later because she's probably rolling her eyes like, good for you. Whatever, you know, because you're a pig. Go to BYU and walk the track and do whatever you need to with Black Widow Bride. Do what you need to do. It's disgusting. And he almost gets like pleasure from that, like speaking like that. What was the other thing? There was another thing that he said that I wondered about. Maybe you guys who were on last night, I had another, there was something else he said. Oh, it was the room 10, it was the apartment 107. You know, the one that I just did about Alex. Some people were saying, why did you do a video about Alex Cox and the apartment? What does this have to do with anything? It has to do with everything. And I guess that's why I do what I do. The people who don't understand what this has to do with it, you know, do what they do. But Chad was saying about apartment 107. It's kind of like, he says, I saw JJ in October in 107. And obviously October is not true. And then Alex is like, you want to find Lori? Go to apartment 107. Not go to my apartment, right? Because Alex had 107, apparently. That was his. Not, hey, my apartment. Or Chad not saying, oh yeah, at Alex's apartment. It was apartment 107. Go to 107. That's empty and not lived in and is way nicer than Lori's. And yeah, it does have something to do with it because Lori is so materialistic. There's no way she would have chosen that one over Alex's, in my opinion. So something's going on in apartment 107, whether it was, I'm not saying that it was the murder place, something went on. And Alex did go over back to his house and then went back to Lori's with Tylee. And like in Tylee's situation with JJ, he brought him over on Sunday night and then brought him back with his head on his shoulder. And David Warwick saying it's a tender moment. Well, what did you do in 107? I just find like maybe Chad's comments were like actually like, yeah, I know. I saw him in apartment 107. What else did you do? I want to know what your pings are, you know? I'm mad. Exactly. 107 never had anything in that apartment. They got that apartment within 1 day of each other. And Alex moves with Lori to Rexburg and doesn't tell his current landlord where he's going because he gets taken to court with an eviction. He had lived there for almost a year. I think it was December 2018. It was almost a year. So for sure, apartment 107 is important. You can't discount anything. Right? So, and he's a coward at the same time, this Chad Dingbell. I mean, he pretends to not know Lori when on the welfare check night. Pretends not to know her. Pretends not to know her phone number. Meanwhile, they're married for how many weeks, right? Michael Johnson says, spending my Friday night with 3,000 friends. Yes, welcome everybody's coming in. I'm going off on a tangent on Chad Daybell. And so many people, or so like, there. I don't know what I was just saying. That's not what I meant. Then to find the children, how they found them. Number one, there was every opportunity in the world not for that outcome. Every opportunity. Okay, Woodcock would have taken them. Barry Woodcock, I'm sure Colby would have. Whatever. Many people would have made sure these children were taken care of. Strangers would have taken care of them. And then they do this horrific crime where you have Tylee dismembered and JJ wrapped in garbage bags and put into the ground like they're nothing. Meanwhile, Chad gives Tammy a good service, doesn't he? Not that he, I mean, I think he killed her too. Let's be honest. But his little double standard there. And as for the raccoon, there was no, from the affidavit, it says there was cat remains, there was dog remains, and then there was other remains. That was Tylee in that fire pit area. No mention of a raccoon, Chad. Exactly. There was no mention of that. There's a lot of stuff. Now, one of the side notes, or actually, let's talk about this. The satellite images, this was very interesting. There's satellite images of September 9th, 2019. So Tylee went missing on the 8th. Then Alex was at the yard on the 9th. And there's satellite images of the ground disturbed that day. I found that fascinating that they would have caught that. Jamie says the duct tape and garbage bags hold DNA and they're gold in this case. I really hope they find something. I really do. Have I learned anything about Zulema? No. Not a lot yet. Not a lot yet. Yes, yes, there is. In the affidavit, there was charred tissue, and yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to find, I hope we can all find out Tammy's results and hope that she actually has something there that they can go on and pin him. The other thing is, remember, if you saw my video on Tylee this week, I talked about her picture in Yellowstone and how her face was, looking miserable and just not happy. The day after, and this picture has been around for months, I think since March, was it? I think March, the FBI released that picture. I did the video the other day. The very next day, the FBI releases a new video, and Tylee's smiling and JJ is smiling. If you've seen that. My question is, why not release that originally? Because in the last shot, the first one that they released, Tylee was like doing like one of those, right? Like just miffed. Miffed is a word that I would use, miffed. And JJ wasn't even looking at the camera. But now all of a sudden the FBI releases this picture of Tylee smiling and JJ smiling, everybody's smiling. I just thought, wow, why wouldn't they choose that picture first, instead of the other one? Oh, I swear, if I see Lori smirking in court, I'm going to, like I say, I'm going to snap my crayons. Chastity says, so did he actually fire his gun and had to say he killed a raccoon, I wonder? Well, this is the interesting thing, right? He's messaging Tammy saying, woof, what a morning. And I know that his son Garth was talking about in summertime to the neighbor Matt Price about Chad shooting a raccoon. So I'm wondering if that he is telling the truth, kind of like how Letitia does, saying, oh, I had to fire my gun. So if you hear about me shooting a gun, this is what it had to be. And then him being, what's the word? When he's talking about the limbs, it's just getting that sick pleasure from it. And then also talking about burning, meaning he'd have a fire, but I don't know if that's what he's meaning. If I look at his text, it's like, oh, you're making excuses for all these things, or just one thing, right? Yes, I love that. Have a miserable birthday, Lori. Exactly. How's 47 look on you? Look around, Lori, because you're going to be the 47, 57, 67, 77, 87 years old. Oh, who did he shoot in July? He shot a raccoon, but yeah, right? At this point, was it a raccoon? Where'd you put him? Let me see. Snap my crayons, you like that? I'll do one. Okay, I have a little bit more here. Additional testing was ordered Wednesday following the completion of autopsy reports. Yeah. They'll take several weeks to return. Once all results are received, the forensic pathologist reports will be provided to the Fremont County coroner. Yeah. Court documents state Tylee Ryan's body was dismembered and burned, and JJ's was wrapped in plastic. Just there's the picture. So why wouldn't they do that the first time around, right? I find it weird. What are your thoughts on Alex and Tammy being killed by Chad's malachite healing balm? They mentioned it in one of his books, and that can cause a pulmonary embolism. Linda C. Short vid by Noor Jasmine. Okay, a couple things on this. A lot of people over the months have sent me information about this malachite ring, right, of malachite and the properties. I would love to know which book he mentioned it in and the context he mentioned it in. If you know that, I would love that information. I'll have to take a look at the video. Another member from the crime ring actually mentioned Noor Jasmine, and I saw part of the video today. I couldn't do all of it. I had to get more stuff done ready for this. But she was doing the I joined a vow video, and I started that. I was like, oh, you go, girl. That was awesome. So she joined and was giving the goods on that. So I found that was cool. I've never heard of her up until now. I've heard of her, but I have not seen her up until today. So she had a little tinfoil hat on, and she was chatting about that. So I'd love to see a couple more of her videos and see what she dives into. The lack of respect the kids' bodies doesn't align with their religious beliefs. Their bodies were still the kids' bodies. It's the souls that were corrupted in their eyes. Something doesn't add up. All of it is. There's no autopsy results out. They're just talking about the kids going for autopsies. Yeah, this is a good question. Was Tammy onto him? In the interview with Melanie Gibb, Melanie Gibb was saying that, I believe it was Melanie Gibb now, she was talking about Tammy being suspicious of Chad. She's been married to him for 30 years. I'm sure she started wondering why all of a sudden he's losing all this weight and going to BYU so much to write. Oh, Addie's still here. Okay, awesome. Okay, awesome. Addie, what can you tell us about Zulema? Thank you, Newton. He says, same question, was shot just CYA or did he finish Tylee? I don't know. It's a good question. thinks malachite is important. I had another couple theories being sent to me that was very interesting as well. I'd like to maybe do a video on that one, but oh, this is interesting. The malachite mines are in Idaho and Arizona. Chad would be able to get the raw dust ring is commemorative. I didn't know that about Idaho and Arizona. Thank you for that info. I think it was on the Dateline episode about Melanie Gibb that Melanie Gibb said that Tammy suspected Chad. Let me double check that. I believe that's where I saw Melanie Gibb say that when they were being interviewed. How much did Chad make from Tammy's insurance? $430,000, and he upped it right before she died. Zulema doesn't, oh, where did that go? Addie. I saw it there. Sorry, one sec. Wish you could it jumps when I try and highlight a name. It jumps. Oh, there we go. Zulema doesn't do her job. So you were being coached by her. How long ago was that? Yeah, it was on Dateline. Okay, that's perfect. It's getting hot in here. I'm just going to take a sip, guys. I've been yapping for an hour and a half. I just need a drink. Okay, whew. Now, what kind of coaching was it? Well, are you meaning coaching like the life coaching thing, or are you meaning with insurance? Yeah, I would love that. We could figure that out. Or Addie, if you are open to it, we can actually connect and do an interview if you're willing to do that. I'm going to give you my email. And if you can't now, that's okay. It might be hard for me to figure out how to do that anyways right now. But if you are willing to, I would love to do an interview with you. I love that Lori and Chad are psychotic and delusional. Yeah, Lori's supposed deity. She doesn't have to eat either. She doesn't have to eat. She doesn't have to drink or whatever it is. And yeah, no one knows if Alex had insurance. That's correct. We don't know. There's absolutely nothing about that from what I've seen. There's no information about that. We know that Charles had insurance. We know that Brandon Boudreau has insurance. We know Tammy has insurance. That's very true. Chad is a control. Tammy not allowed her PC game. She wasn't allowed to play her game, and then he used Tammy's dead grandmother as the reason, saying, your grandma told me in a vision or in a whatever that you're not to do that anymore, and you need to work on the family tree. Did anybody, was there any mention of which book that was about the Malachite that he wrote? Where did Alex get any of his money? He worked as a truck driver, and I don't know how often he worked as a stand-up comedian, but he also did that too. Oops. They were both found. I was supposed to highlight a different one there. Yeah, I wonder what Tammy's grandma's telling him to do now. No kidding. And on September 23rd, every September 23rd, he gets this. I think Chad, if he's as dark as we think, I think there's going to be more dirt coming out on him. And speaking of dark, in the Dateline episode, it came out that they rated Oprah Winfrey as the darkest person in the world. Like, I heard that, I was like, did you just say Oprah? You said Oprah. You did not just say Oprah. And it was just like, that's it. Oprah Winfrey's the darkest. Are you serious? Now we know he's full of you know what. Oh, September 23rd is also Lori's sister's Summer's birthday. Interesting. And what else was there was a lot of repeat, obviously, because it's the timeline, right? There's a lot of repeat. But that was interesting how he was rating Oprah Winfrey, probably because he felt threatened. And what was the other thing? Yeah, he's been a few people in different lives. He's done this to numerous women about harassing them and telling them, well, I shouldn't say harassing, telling them and saying that they've been married numerous times before. Betty remembers their phone number then, though, right? Wonder if they are on suicide watch. I don't know. I don't see them. I don't see them killing themselves. Best comment of the night. Oprah would not put him in her book club. He's got like two-star ratings on it. Mary says, when did Tammy's mom die? I wonder if Chad had. It's Tammy's grandmother that passed away. Her name's Lucille, and he gets messages from Tammy's grandmother. Yeah, I don't see them killing themselves either. Although I think Chad's hearing got pushed to August. Is that correct? Because I was trying to look for that. Correct. Okay, so it is in August, which I was disheartened because I was like, man, he's probably smiling about that, happy that it got pushed to August. Shows how much you guys know. I wasn't going to, Oh, is it August 4th? Okay. Yes, Tracy says, did you watch the body cam footage about her stolen purse? I did. Lynette says, I think the marriages were all very deliberate and they can't make you testify against your spouse. Seems there were ulterior motives. Okay, August 3rd and 4th. Okay, perfect. Thank you for that. Because it was July 1st and 2nd. Now, August 3rd and 4th. Yeah, it doesn't apply to Idaho. I heard that too. That doesn't, and I heard that, I believe, from Scott Reich that said, no, they did that, but it doesn't matter. Brittany says, are they legal? Did they get a marriage license? I don't know. There was a lot of people talking about, that they might not have submitted the marriage license or got a marriage license. I don't know. I'd love to know that. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. They are acting too smug. They think they're going to get away with this even now. Now that we know about the news about the kids and we start to look back at past events, but obviously with new lenses on, right? It's enlightening. Watching their faces, watching them in court, Chad sitting in the courtroom with his smile, like not a care in the world. It's enlightening. Well, that's an interesting. Chad and Tammy's engagement photos were taken at the cemetery he worked on. She's buried in. You don't doubt it. We covered a lot tonight, didn't we? I think I got everybody. The only one that I do want to mention that's coming up in July, hopefully it'll stay. Do you guys remember Heidi Broussard? She was the girl that was killed in December and by her best friend, allegedly by her best friend. Her hearing is July 7th. It was supposed to be in May, and then I think it was supposed to be June, but it's now July 7th. So I'm going to put her playlist below as well in the description. And then if you guys want to get caught up and get up to date on that, then I will put that there because it's coming. I think back to Lori Daybell, or Lori Vallow, whatever it is legally. I think with her and Alex and Chad, I think there's going to be more coming for sure. I really do. I think there's more charges coming, but I think they're gathering a lot because there's some things they're not putting in to the affidavit for Chad. I think they're saving a couple things. It was mentioned in Ian's statement to police that Malachite healing bombed. I emailed the link to the video mentioned. Okay, thank you. I'll take a look. Thank you so much. Ian's statement to the police. Okay. I have so many pages of stuff. Pages, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pages, doing almost 40 videos or whatever it is. Did I see? Okay, hang on. It's jumping again. Hope after the world fails to end on July 22nd, Lori will snap out of it and have a mega guilt forever over what she's done. Doubtful, but we can hope. Yeah, a nice little breakfast of reality on the next day, on the 23rd. I wonder what that day is going to be like. Live chat on July 22nd. Imagine the comments then. We'll do it on the 23rd. Do it on the 23rd. Otherwise, we're going to have to go past midnight on July 22nd. Yeah, we're going to do a live chat. We'll do a live chat on that day. And we were joking in previous ones that maybe we'll hit, like by some crazy stroke of luck, to hit 144,000 and beat out Lori, so she's not leading the 144,000. Wouldn't that be funny? Sorry, that was a big swallow. I wonder if Mr. Linda's around or if he's sleeping. We should tell him to come in, shouldn't we? I'm going to ask him if he's sleeping. Sometimes I can hear him snoring. Did I see Annie Cushing's interview? She said they were taking their time. No. Mr. Linda might be sleeping. I don't know. If not, he can come in and we can hang out. You guys can ask him some questions if you want. We're the Lindaites. Some people call them Lindanators. First thing I do when police are digging up my parents' yard and bodies are found in my parents' yard is move in the house immediately, right? Weird. They moved out and then Emma moves in. We should phone Mr. Linda. Hello? Yes, toxicology does take a lot of time, a long time. Okay, there's Addie. Melanie Gibb is friends with my parents. When did she get divorced? Because Melanie Gibb broke up or split from her husband. I think it was 2018. Maybe it was 2019. All right, I'm going to take a little stretch here in my creaky. I'm telling you, sitting on this chair sometimes, butt gets numb. A little stretch. What other cases that are going on that you guys would like me to cover and talk about or go back to? I know I went on a little bit of a rampage on Tylee and JJ's the last couple weeks because there's so much that came in. So I was diving. Yeah, Fort Hood. Okay, with Vanessa. What I might do is a separate video for Vanessa. And then we can get more information through there. Morphew case. Any news about Letitia? There was really not a lot. She's going for that competency, what do you call it? Exam? I can't even think of the word right now. And basically they'll see if she's competent or not and go from there. Oh, I hear Mr. Linda. Info on Barry. Yes, I did the updates on little Sebastian earlier in the show. Assessment, that's the word. Assessment. Fireworks started going off when you said you heard Mr. Linda. That's funny. I've heard his name before too, Dior Kuntz. I've heard of his case. It was very sad. Are there any crimes to report on in Canada? Well, not like the States. The thing about Canada is hard to find information. Things are way more tight-lipped than the United States. There are a lot of people are really asking me to do Barry and Honey Sherman from Canada. And so I'm going to see if there's enough information that we could do something on like that. But there is, and there's even a case last year around my neck of the woods, and a guy actually was a landlord / lover of this girl, and she had a little girl as well, and he ended up, well, he's being charged with murder. But I can't find any information from February of last year. No, it would be this year, February of this year. Nothing, no updates, no nothing. And so it's so hard to do a video on things that like barely anything. It'd be like a 2-minute video where you're like, oh, this is what happened, but I really don't know what happened. And I mean, who knows down the road if I can dive in. There we go. No spousal privilege. There is harm to a child. Thank you. Exactly. This is exactly it. Joey Face says, damn it, they can't wait until August. The world won't be around then. Exactly. That's why I think he's smirking right now. He's like, whew, August 4th? No problem. Donnie Payne says, thank you for looking at Vanessa's disappearance. I live at the gates of Fort Hood nearly and am heartbroken about this. They found a body of another soldier who had been missing, but it wasn't her. Yes, that was Gregory Morales, right? That they found. He's been missing since August, and they found him just recently after they started, all started coming out. Manglia says, any crime shows you and Mr. Linda are watching? We watched one called Reckoning, and we binged kind of, I wouldn't say binged, but a little bit we binged it. And there was one that I really liked. It was about a podcaster, and the guy from Breaking Bad was in it, Aaron Paul. It was really good. I liked it. But I haven't looked at anything. I haven't seen TV. I don't know when's, I guess Dateline I saw. The last time I watched TV was the Dateline episode on Monday. What day are we at? We're Friday. If you guys have any suggestions what to watch, let me know. There she is. Nora Jasmine says, hi, I just got a comment that I got a shout out from you, Lindo. Yeah, no worries. You know what? I heard of you, and today I actually got to go and check out your channel. I was only able to watch a portion of your video that you joined a vow, which was totally awesome. I was like, that a girl is awesome. So, and welcome to the channel. And yeah, it was really cool what you were saying. I really enjoyed from what I was able to see. I was working on these videos because I do case catch up, which I do quite a few videos, and it takes me a bit of time to try and catch up on what's going on, as you know, when you research. So I was like, oh, I'm going to go check her out. And a lot of people keep saying, you got to go check her out. So I did, and I saw a little bit of the Avow stuff, and it was interesting that you did that. I thought that was great, and I enjoyed your channel, and I subscribed. So there's that. I'll put your channel in my description as well, because we're talking about that. So yeah, the tinfoil hat, I love that. That's cool. Welcome. Ooh, yeah, okay. Genetic detective. I saw a commercial on that. I really want to see that. I actually love anything DNA. I love ancestry. I love all of that. So that I got to see. I don't have Hulu, but I'll have to see where that is. Oh, I got to see Genetic Detective. I bet you I would love that. Reese, just email me at itsacrimeandashame@gmail.com. I might do an updated way to do that in the future, but for now, that's what we could do. Thanks, Noor. You're fun. I'm gonna go check out some more pictures of or more videos of yours for sure. I got to catch up. I love that you dive into the other aspects as well, so it's cool. Marianne says, sorry, battery died, so couldn't ask this early. Do you think JJ was already dead or drugged when he was leaning on Uncle Alex's? That's a loaded question, right? I don't know. They were doing a podcast. He brought them over. Although I'm wondering if there's something more to the middle of the night. So perhaps he was just sleeping and he gave him a little something to sleep, and then had to bring him back so, those guys can see that he's coming, that he's coming back. I don't know. Yeah, that's cool. I would love to see this genetic detective. I've been saying that like a jillion times. So maybe we can talk about that one night once I see it. Yeah, I do too. I do too. Although in the end, they did. Colby's GoFundMe, I haven't checked in the last couple days, but it was up there. Yeah, I would agree. She talks in a lot of circles. Yes, Addie, if you can just email me, I think that'd be the best bet. And then that way we can have something a little bit more structured. I do like structure, if that's okay. This is a new software too, so I don't even know the first thing about how this would all work. Yeah, word salad. It's getting hot in here, you guys. Friday night hanging out with 2,700 people. Hope you guys are having a really, really good night. It's fun chatting you. Oh, Addie, I was just saying, if you can email me, because the best way is I have new software. I don't know how to do if there's a live call-in on that. I mean, this is really brand new. I just did this software like last week, I think. So I'm going to give you this, and then we can keep in contact, and then I can get a list of questions to ask as well. And there's my email. Oh, there we go. Colby Ryan's GoFundMe is at 16,920. Wow, that's awesome. I might have hot flashes. I'm not sure. To be fair, there's a ring light and two leather lights, 45 degrees. It's hot, and it's 27 degrees in the house. So in American terms, that is, what is that? 25, 50, 80. It's like 80 some degrees. I'm a little hot. And then I have these. I need to get one of those little fans that are USB and then just. Where am I from? I live in Canada, in Alberta. Greg says, I'm thinking that there might be several more people involved with the death of these children than just Lori, Chad, and Alex, perhaps more arrests to come. I'm thinking so too. I'm thinking there's a few more that needs to come, that there's a little more information. I agree. Or maybe I'll get one of those portable air conditioners. We'll stay a little bit longer, and then I'm gonna jet. A little bit longer though. I want to make sure I get some good sleep. Barb says, I'm a newer subscriber. Does anyone know if Linda saves live chats? Yes, I do. It takes a few minutes to actually upload and process, but That's fun. I'd love Linda, Stephanie, and Scott collab. That's fun. A lot of people have said that, actually, all three of us together. I had a really great chat with Stephanie a little while ago. Or 3 hours on the phone or something like that. We should probably talk till next week. What time is it here? It's 9:10. Okay, what I'll do is, here's my email. And I'll post it on right here. There we go. That's my email. No, it's legit getting hot. It's not the flashes. Oh yeah, too bad you didn't have this channel in 2016 when police were searching for Talia. Yeah, that was in North Calgary, right? That was a weird one. Oh, no, I wasn't crying. It's just really hot. Anytime, Addie, to email me, anytime at all, and then we can discuss through there. Thank you, Michelle. Welcome aboard. Nora says, what do you think about the Malachite theory, Linda? Be honest, I can handle it. I don't know at this point. I really don't. I can understand. Actually, tonight, an earlier person said that there was Malachite in one of Chad's books, but I don't know the context. But I had an interesting theory sent to me that I may do maybe a video or just maybe do some more digging, because the theory she had was quite interesting, and it had to do with vet medicine. And, you know, when you put, dogs, cats, that you put them down. And she actually had like a whole huge email about all the information, all that kind of thing. And I thought, oh man, that is so interesting. So just because he talks about pets and, the pet cemetery and all that other things, I thought, oh, wonder if he did something like that. Oh, one of the things too with Tammy dying, side note, Julie Rowe was on Nancy Grace and talking about how Chad said she died around 2 a.m. No, sorry, the coroner believes that she died around 2 a.m.-ish. And he called in at 6 a.m. So now I'm starting to wonder, me and the patterns, is Tammy at 2 in the morning, 2, 3-ish, Tylee, 2, 3-ish, and JJ potentially 2, 3-ish. We don't know on that. Just that when David and Melanie went to go leave, JJ was already gone. Do you have, if you have a video on that, I'll go kind of check it out, because I haven't did much diving into the Malachite theory, but I've heard a lot about it. So I wish I could tell you my honest opinion, but I really don't know much about it. I know that it is poisonous, but does that mean he gave her a tea? How did that go down? And he said she was coughing. There we go back to how he kind of tells the truth. in some aspects of each thing he says. So, good question, though. Okay, Savannah has a question. Let's see if I can find it. Savannah says, would you consider covering a story of a child not missing or murdered, but a modern day forced adoption at the hands of alleged Christians? I'd have to take a look at it. Usually I do missing. Most of my videos are on missing. And then, you know, once we find out what happens to them, I dig deep. That's interesting, though. I'd like to read about it. Yes, I do. I do see that there's many requests for deep dive into the Zulema, so I'll have to gather some intel. Now I'm going to have to do a pattern video. Vanessa Guillen, I talked about earlier, and I might do a separate video too with her. I've done them before, but I have a few videos on malachite. ENP mentions a healing malachite solution bomb in a statement is readily available as an aquarium solution. My Lori Vallow playlist has the vids. Okay, I will check it out. And thank you. Thank you for the super chat and hanging out in here. Thank you. We'll check it out. And then we'll see if I can dive deep into that and put 2 and 2 together, right? Yeah, this is a really good point. Angela says, I wonder why Lori and Melanie went to Hawaii in October. Interesting that it was never said, right? Until we started finding out, like, what? Melanie and Lori went to Hawaii, but she didn't know where the kids were. I don't know. I haven't heard that. Did Chad sign his house over to his daughter? I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe she's just a protector to go in there. Maybe he did. Maybe, I have no idea. And they're talking about Melanie P going to Hawaii. Not Melanie Gibb, it was Melanie Pulowski. What dates was Melanie and Lori in Hawaii? I don't know that yet. I know the last time Melanie Pulowski saw her kids was October 9th. And I know that she was loading up her stuff in the moving van on October 31st. So perhaps right after that. Lori was shown on cam on the storage unit on October 1st and the 2nd. But then after that, she doesn't visit the storage unit. So I'm wondering if that's because she went to Hawaii or what's the deal. I would love to know the dates of that. Yeah, my gut tells me Melanie P knows way more about where the kids were and what happened to them. I agree. She has to. And even just with the way she was talking, like there's just like, wait a minute, what? No, that's not right. Wait a minute, what? And the biggest thing is that apartment 107 video that I did. The authority says, do you know who lives next door? And she says, I think Alex is on the lease because Alex is sometimes on there and sometimes Lori is there. What the heck kind of answer is that? How do you not know who lives beside you? And you just moved there like 3.5 weeks ago. Just weird. Melissa says, thank you so much, Linda, for all you do for those that need a voice. I would love to be Mana. Okay, welcome. Thank you. And give me an email. We can have a little chat. I wonder who's paying for the storage unit now. Nobody, because she stopped paying for it. Her card was declined. Might have even been Charles's card. And everything's together, right? It's kind of hard to look at Melanie Pulowski and say, how do you not know? Because of, they all group go down to Rexburg. They all go to, or up to Rexburg. They all go and get married in Vegas. Well, Melanie and Alex do. And Melanie's really, really, really close to Lori. Exactly. What was Alex doing with JJ in an empty apartment? Exactly. That was my whole point about doing that apartment 107. Some people got really upset about that video. I have no idea what triggered them, but it triggered them. I never thought a minute that would. But I had quite a few comments. They're freaking out that I did that video. This is ridiculous. What does it have to do? It has everything to do with it. You have Alex who's moving to Rexburg, doesn't tell his landlord in Arizona, gets this apartment, a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom townhome in the same complex as Lori. That's a better unit. And it's empty, but yet it's not part of that. I don't get it. Exactly. This is important because when you look at it and the what's the word? The referencing of 107 all the time. It's weird, right? Not this is, I saw JJ in Alex's apartment. It's like apartment 107. Yep. It's almost like they got together in a round table and they're like, listen, if anybody asks anything, just talk about apartment 107. It almost seems like that, doesn't it? It's weird. Savannah says, this story isn't out there yet. Anyone who can help. Email me that story. Is that the one that you were telling me about earlier? You can email me about that and I can look at it, and then maybe somebody else can, if I can't, maybe somebody else, I can give you the hookup. Yeah, like 107 is code for something. That's what it feels like. Kind of like that stupid email that Lori did and pretended to be Charles. If I've ever checked in a hotel again, they try to put me in room 107, I'm gonna say, hell no. I think that a lot of people are feeling like that. No carpet in 107. 107 was tile, remember? The upstairs, though, but the main floor. I love that saying. They're all few fries shy of a happy meal. No, see, okay. I think they talk about 107 so much because they wanted to pin the murders on dead Alex. That's what Nicole says. Well, the thing is Alex was even talking about 107. You think about stuff that a lot of people don't think about. That is what makes you great. Thank you. Sometimes people don't really get it, but I can't help it. I have to dig when I see something. It's like, wait a minute, let's just explore it. And sometimes it's nothing, but this here is something weird. Oh, this is cool. There's a 1-hour podcast by Zulema Pastenes from March 16th on YouTube. She is saying the same thing as Melanie Gibbs. Stories are very similar. I haven't finished it yet. That'd be awesome. Can you please send me an email with the link to that? That would be awesome. I would appreciate that. I could kind of hear like straight firsthand what she's saying. Good question. I wonder if any of Chad's books reference 107. I do too. A lot of the most common phrase that people say is run, Ian, run on my comments. I hear that all the time. Maddie says 107 has the secret portal in it. The police better check every inch of the apartment. No kidding. There was, okay, now let me remember now. I saw it on from a reporter. She said that the authorities came back to Lori's apartment after the new people were in there and asked to go look at the crawl space in there, or the attic crawl space, something like that. And I thought that was interesting. That was before the kids were found, though. Angel number 107 means divine transformation in your life. Look into organophosphates for poisonings. Thank you, stay-at-home mom detective. Nice to see you again. Divine transformation. They seem to be something with numbers, don't they? Pattern video is going to come up. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. And I did also see that Lori and Alex had a P.O. box address that was the same in Sugar City, Idaho, just outside of Rexburg. Yeah, that was fun, wasn't it? Zooming in the crime ring. Do we know why Lori was pretending to be Charles? I did a video on that of their email, and I did it like a tale of two stories, or I can't remember what I called it. But I showed the email, and then I did it as a basic, and then I did it if it was written in code. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I'd love to know what you all think about that. I might even watch it again just to see if there is more. Now that we know the information we do now, if we go back and see what else we can glean from it. Yeah, that too. Lori purchased wedding rings for her and Chad that had malachite gemstone, was purchased on Amazon for $35. It means something. Definitely not the flashy, expensive taste of Lori. Yep. Lori likes the finer things, and she's very materialistic, it seems like, in my opinion. And she didn't even purchase it. Charles did on his credit card. Charles is already gone, but Charles's credit card bought Lori and Chad's rings, Lori's bathing suits, Chad's swimwear, Chad's shoes, their wedding attire. That's sad. This is a good question too. The significance of the condition of Tylee's body versus JJ's. Well, JJ wasn't, well, Tylee was first, right? And maybe their plan didn't go as well as they thought it would and change their mind on JJ. I don't know. Maybe it's a time issue. I don't know. Why would they even go that step further is beyond me. Like, I don't know. It's disgusting. I hope the authorities start to dig more in Chad's past prior to 2015, prior to all these others. I hope they start digging in, because I think potentially there is way more than we know. And like, meaning history. Here's a guy who has been digging graves for 20 years, talking about near-death experiences, and also a lot of BS that comes out of his mouth, and just making stuff up as he goes along. And maybe he gets a thrill. I don't know. It seems a little bit that he does. only because of his text is what I'm looking at, going like, is he liking this? And watching them dig, and then when they get to that last moment, then he goes. So I hope they do dig, and I hope they can get a lot of things. Yeah, so there's more to him. And if he's harassing and, how does he even get away with it? I guess his spiritual gift and people so wanting more is how he gets them. Because physically, especially back then, I don't see how women would be swooned by him, in my opinion. But he must really talk a good game. And like Melanie Gibb keeps talking about, Lori saying, well, if he's Satan, he sure is a good one. Yes, Lori had their birth certificates with her in Hawaii. Remember, I was talking about, like, why would she have it in the car with her? She had it in the car with her, not like back at the apartment, like in the car, rental car. And she had Tylee's phone, her cell phone with her, and the iPads, JJ's iPad. Yes, he did. Alex married and changed his name to Pastenas weeks prior to his death. The son of his new wife called 911 in an attempt to save, yes, that's true, to save Cox's life. Alex got married that weekend, November 29th, and then Melanie got married November 30th. Then Alex went back to Arizona and lived with Zulema. Alex has a new name. No apartment in his name now, right? There's nothing, he's gone without a trace, really, in a sense. He ends up December 12th dying. And Joseph, the son of Zulema, calls 911, doesn't know his last name, doesn't know Alex's last name, didn't even know they were married, calls him my mom's boyfriend. Didn't she have Charles' rental car when Alex was killing Charles? If so, did she have an excuse why she had it? Well, he can't get away if she has his vehicle, right? In my opinion, that's what I was thinking, because she takes his car and goes and drops JJ off. I don't know, it's weird. Pamela says, did anyone hear any more about Lori being in Vegas when everyone got married? I don't know if she did or not. I'm starting to be very suspicious that she was. The 26th was the welfare check. They left the night of the 26th. The 29th and the 30th is the weddings of Alex and Melanie and Ian and Zulema. Chad, that same week, takes his kids to Disneyland. I'd like to know when he sprung the idea on them. Like, I feel like I wouldn't be surprised, let's just say, if they said that it was a last-minute trip. And the 26th is when that happened. And then Chad's like, hey, guys, I got an idea. Let's go to Disneyland. Let's go. And because he was planning with Lori to leave on December 1st, because he left December 1st from Los Angeles to Hawaii. So I'm thinking there's a pretty good chance that Lori stopped on the way from Rexburg to Los Angeles in Vegas. Thank you, Denise. Look into the Book of Mormon, Linda. The reference to 107 is interesting. I'm going to go check that out. Sorry, I'm just reading some of these now. Getting quiet. My brain is starting to shut down, I think, a little bit. Oh, I have one on a bookshelf. I'll check it out. Does that mean the book that they were just talking about? I would love to hear about that. Ooh, okay, it's getting hot again. I'm going to write that down. One sec, you guys. I guess Mr. Linda isn't coming in, is he? Just writing this down. It's getting hot. I didn't think it ever got hot in Canada. Well, it gets to around 30 degrees, which is, what is that for you? 90? Around 90? Sometimes it goes hotter. Actually, it was 40 degrees last year. So that's 40. It would have been 100. What is that, 110? But funny enough, last year I took my son to Disneyland for his 16th birthday. I guess it was a year and a half ago now. And it was hot for us. We went in October and it was hot. And people were wearing jackets and they could tell we were Canadian because it's like, whew. At 40 Celsius. And it gets to minus 40, minus 50. It is not fun. I don't know how I'm able to live here. Michelle says, my husband and I visited BC last year. Yeah, BC last year and loved it. BC is amazing. I grew up in BC and it's beautiful. I'd like to be back there, actually. You've never even seen snow before? Well, let me tell you, when it snows, and there's always a possibility we get snow in June. It's a freak storm, but there's a possibility, even July. But when it comes, I'll share with you on like my YouTube stories. I haven't used that yet. I'll share with you what it looks like. Then you could be there right with me. Rose says, was it 107 degrees, Linda? Yes, 107. It's always 107. Okay, I'm going to check that out. Check out the Doctrine and Covenant scripture in the LDS Church. Okay, we're getting somewhere. You guys are awesome. Look at you guys digging. Vonda Morphew says, no updates for the Morphews, and we're not related. Yeah, no real updates. Everything's hush-hush. And we're hoping something, but I don't know. It's not looking good. All right. Yeah, exactly. It snow's pretty only when until you have to shovel it. Lovely Libra says, Mrs. Linda, will you keep adding pictures to your background? Yes. To be honest, the reason why I haven't updated it is because I have been homeward bound since March, and I just started to get out in the real world, but I have a little anxiety over it. So when I'm able to, I will do some updating and add a couple things to the shelf. Dana Meyer says, Evelyn Boswell, please. Actually, I did speak about her earlier in the night. Thank you, Bonnie. Earlier in the night about them. I'm hoping to get more and more updates. It sucks, hey, when we're trying to find out any kind of information we can, and then there's nothing. All right, you guys, I'm going to call it a night. I'm going to get to bed. I haven't had the best of sleep the last couple nights. And I'm so glad you guys were able to join me tonight on a Friday night and hang out. We'll do this again, and I will let this upload, and then by tomorrow I'll have the links for you, and I'll do timestamps so you can go back and look at all the cases we talked about tonight. It's hot. Thank you. Congratulations on the 85,000 I just saw. All right. Thank you so much, you guys. I'm going to call it a night. My butt's numb. And stay tuned for the next video, and we'll chat with you later. Bye. Have a good night and a good weekend. Bye.